the Rebbe is not forgotten, which is one important thing. He's not forgotten. It is not like so many heroes that you cannot even sell their biographies a year after they died. Nobody's interested. The Rebbe remains, I would put it this way, the Rebbe remains a very active figure, even though he is not moving with us in this world. That is one thing. There is also the other part, which is the Rebbe alive and here was not just a spiritual being. He was in many ways what I try to call it in a book. He was a king. He was a commander of an army. And he made people move. Now he is becoming, so to say, a little bit spiritualized. He's becoming something like a force. You see, you speak sometimes about the Rebbe, and there are many people. And incidentally, those people are not necessarily Chabad people or religious people, but many people who are not religious at all. But he becomes, the Rebbe has a figure now, like Eliyahu Hanavi. That's what he becomes. What appears is a picture of something that's almost a supernatural being. And so the Rebbe is therefore becoming very much as what if you may call it, perhaps not the right jargon, a mythical figure. When you speak now about the Baal Shem Tov, the Baal Shem Tov is not a person that you are going to meet and to have a chat with. Baal Shem Tov is almost a power of nature. So the Rebbe becomes more and more like this. It is something that is shaking the world, or if I would put it, not just, I use the words, not the phrase. Coming of Mashiach is the end of history. That is what it is. So some things like this don't move always. They may happen. You may give them a date in a certain time. That is the date. It may take a longer period in which things are happening. It's like it's not just by chance that the redemption is likened in the writings. The best sources, the writings of the prophets, they write about it. It's like giving birth. Now sometimes some children are being born almost without any effort, and the mother doesn't even remember when it happened. Some deliveries take a day and 2 days and 3 days, and there's lots of suffering and lots of bleeding and lots of crying. And so when you speak not about an individual being born, but a world being born, it takes the time, the framework of time is, Chevlei Mashiach can be 2 days, 2 short days of what I call of having all kinds of heavenly signs, or it can be 30 years of pushing it. I don't know but I know about women that had the experience. They didn't like it, but this I mean, it's exactly these are the words that the prophets use, not once. So that's what I'm saying. It's perhaps not a fast delivery, and the growth of Islam is again, it's something that's happening, but it's happening. It changes also the world. It's not always, we are sometimes caught by the edges of it, but things are happening. Things are happening in the world, and there is a power coming, which, see, if I would say, not in the language, but the notion of the Rambam, see, a stronger monotheism is coming into the world.
A stronger?
Monotheism is coming into the world with Islam. I heard it just from some individuals that really knew it because they heard it from the Rebbe himself in different times. The Rebbe pointed out many years ago, not just close to his departure, but many years ago, that they are underestimating the importance of Islam. The Rebbe said it to some of his what are called chief commanders, that you should put it in statements. You should take it into account. See, it is interesting and for some reason not well known, but it is clear and true, and I can give you the sources for that. Not written, mostly what I call mostly not interviews, but people that got orders from the Rebbe to behave in a certain way. So I'm saying things are moving, are changing. Are they changing exactly? You see, if things would be changing exactly in the way we dream about them, then it wouldn't be Ikvesa the Mashiach. It will be the coming itself. You see, the coming. You see, sometimes it is. Sometimes we hear the steps from a distance, but when we see the imprints before us, that is much closer. We don't come to this point, but we came into other points. We can look. You may say humanity didn't conquer disease in general, but it has. People are living now. To speak now about living to 120 is no longer a joke.
Right.
So things are changing. And I can quote about the Rebbe, which is basically what the Kuzari writes about the Jews. It's like the heart in the body. It's the strongest and most pained part of the body, because it receives all the pains of every part of the body. It has to be strong in order to survive, which was basically not a bad description of the Rebbe, to receive all the sufferings. And we never, people don't know, but the Rebbe knew what. See, I'm walking in the street, and my neighbor is smiling, well dressed and so on. And so I say, okay, he is a lucky person. Now, the Rebbe possibly knew my source and the neighbor's source and the neighbor's source, and all of them looked smiling and happy. So I'm saying it was a concentration of pain. So the concentration of pain was something that, of course, it was from time to time revealed as not as a change about hope, because the optimism, and I think it's a good definition of the optimism was not saying all is right and all is well. It said, we can make it better. Optimism was, for the Rebbe, wasn't a point of view of seeing a rosy existence, but really of trying to create a better future, fighting for it, working for it, and pushing people to it because he believed that it can be pushed. Even his that statement of his, which is, you may say on one hand it was a statement of deep despair, but it's not just of deep despair. It wasn't despair. It was in one way, you may say, the Rebbe says, I cannot do anymore. I did to the utmost of my ability, but it doesn't give up the desire and the orders and the dream and the ideas. Which means what the Rebbe does is says, I try to do on my own what I could. So I'm giving into your hands something which I believe that can be done.